Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Today we are back at the Moon Base, or Moon Town, or Moon City, whatever you want to call it. I haven't quite decided yet. I guess it depends on how big this thing eventually gets, but anyways, last episode we started on everything to the right. We had that whole section built, we had this middle section, but today I've added a whole new wing to the left side, and then I've added something to the back. From the last episode, there's the moon truck, and there is the work-in-progress flyer, fighter jet. I don't know if I want to call it a jet. What's called a space fighter. And over there is something, a vehicle that somebody sent me. We'll check that out last. It's really pretty awesome. But anyways, let's go ahead and go into the space base. Now, this map will be available to download. So if you want to check the description below, it does require mods, obviously. The moon mod, Derf, MJM, and Grego, so a lot of mods in this build. Anyways, here's the airlock. This is from the last episode, and you've got our main lobby area here. Now to the right, I'm going to overhaul that section that's kind of like a apartment section, but I'm going to make it a little bit nicer. And down there, that's where I stopped. There's a new medical bay over here, so anyways, let's go ahead and go to the first new section. Now, this is something you guys said that I needed to have. And it makes 100% sense. There's still a couple things that are really required for this moon base that I still need to work on, but this was one of the first ones I wanted to work on. Now, over here. Now, one thing I want to point out before we go into this area, you're going to see these little cuts in the base. This is all because of the lag, so I need to keep these sections kind of separate. It's because Scrap Mechanic, once you have something this big and it's all stuck together, it does not like it at all. So you're going to see these little slits. That's why I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do these airlocks or these sliding doors, because there's a lot of bearings on them. So there's going to be a couple sections here that probably should have sliding doors that don't. So anyways, our first area here. This is the garden, the farm, the greenhouse, whatever you want to call this. This is probably one of the most essential things besides power and oxygen, which I'm still working on those two, but you've got to have food. You've got to eat. But yeah, you get this little section out here. This is a little locker area. Say you need to get in sort of, I would guess you need to be in some sort of uniform for this area. So you can get all that here. And ignore this. This was actually that computer from the last episode. It's a controller. Something since the update has happened and it's retextured a couple of these, and it's actually screwed up some of the plants too. But anyways, let's go ahead and pop in here. I love those door handles. Those are awesome. But yeah, here it is. This area took a long time, and it really probably shouldn't have taken as long as it did. It was mainly the roof area. The game has a weld glitch right now, so I was gonna like do one of these sections and then just repeat it and weld it all together, and that didn't happen at all. It wouldn't weld, so I had to actually build a whole half and then just duplicate it and put it on the other side. So took a while to do this, but I'm really happy with the result. It looks awesome. Like, this whole area, it gives you that futuristic kind of feel. I was looking at a lot of futuristic cities and, you know, what they would do for farming, and there's these just big domes, so kind of went with that look here. You've got two platforms that'll take you all the way to the back, that way you're not stepping on the grass and the plants. Of course, if you have to, you can always go up and down those. To water them, you've got this overhead system. You can see the nozzles, and it runs down to here, and here's the little nozzle for the our little switch for the water. So let's go up here real quick, and you can walk all the way back here. I was debating on putting some sort of robot system, maybe a couple moving arms out here besides just the watering system, to maybe make it look like they're reaching around and interacting with the plants. Might still do that. That's what these walkways were kind of intended for, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm really satisfied with the way it looks now. I don't know if I really need to add that much more, but anyways, let's go ahead and check out the plants here. I try to make them look as realistic as possible and as different as possible. The default plants in the game, they give you quite a few. You've got like this cactus. You're going to notice something really weird with these. These are a couple of other plants that are in the game. This is what I was talking about with the texture issue. But this one actually looks kind of neat. It looks like maybe some sort of alien plant. And then, of course, you've got the vase that has the bearing texture on it, but not going to talk about that. But yeah, you've got all these little plants here. Some of these are using some of the new parts, these pipe pieces that are in Scrap Mechanic. You've got some of the nuts and bolts. They look kind of like maybe potatoes and No telling, carrots or something poking out of the ground. We have some more planters here. We've got some stalks over here, maybe some sort of beans. In this area, we've got this grass growing. I mean, of course, I wanted to use the concrete floor and make it look like grass, but I figured I might as well use those plants too. So you've got that. These bushes are actually from Moonbo. These were in, I believe, the theme park. I think he's doing these for his city. He let me have a couple of these, and these actually look really good. I wanted to try to fit a tree in here, but I figured the roof is not tall enough. It'd be a pretty short tree, so maybe we'll still try to do that. I'm always open to suggestions for anything you see in here. But yeah, you've got that. You got some more plants over here. Up and down the sides, there's some boxes, some of the little crates and stuff that have the different food items in the game. Of course, I have no clue what those are actually going to be used for. I'm assuming something in survival. But yeah, you've got the little power box over here. A couple places to wash your hands. But yeah, you'll probably notice the air conditioning systems up there. There's a couple big pipes that run out there. I'm sure it's pumping in air and trying to keep the air conditions just right for plants. Of course, I left the everything kind of open because it is like a greenhouse. You're still catching the sun into here, so I'm assuming it still has the same effect, but we're going to go outside and look at that here in a second because I actually want to link those outside pipes out over here. So let's go ahead and, before we go to the medical bay, let's go ahead and go over here. And I want to kind of link all these together and look like they're running up and down the building because I want to eventually build some sort of oxygen system or little station along with a solar station somewheres. But you can see these actually run out here and it hooks into a little machine. And I'm thinking of running like pipes under here and maybe making them go under the buildings here. But yeah, I'll go ahead and give you a view of the outside real quick. To me, this looks actually really, really good. Alright, here is the second most requested item on the list. A medical bay, or a little hospital in here. So you're going to walk into here. This is behind the main counter where the attendants sit for the main hub. So let's go ahead and close those doors. That would be really deadly. There we go. But yeah, back here, you've got a little counter area. This is where the receptionist would be. And they can show you into the medical area. Now, I'm still debating, like I said, on the sliding doors. Those are a lot of bearings, so I'm afraid of putting too many of them in the building. Like, basically everything should have a sliding door, but I'm not sure it's going to be possible in this base. But anyways, here is the medical area. Now, we've got a couple beds in here. We've got a little surgery facility over here. And it's a really pretty basic setup. A lot of this would probably be automated if this is in the future. So you're not going to really probably have that many doctors. It looks like back here, I've got a couple arms. And I can go and pull up the spider web. You can see how they're hooked up. This would be if somebody's got to go into surgery, you can stick them on the table and you would go through the computers. I guess type in what type of surgery it is. And these robotic arms would move around and actually perform the surgery. It's a really neat looking area. You can see the power running through. We've got a couple air conditioning units. We've got a little bit of a bed. Over here would be, I would guess, kind of like, I wouldn't say cryo beds, because these could probably actually go into the apartments the way they are. If you're going into some sort of cryogenic sleep. But these would be like, I would assume if you get out of surgery, you need to rest up, you can stick somebody in one of these beds, close it, seal it off. Those are actually really, really neat looking. But yeah, that's the medical area. I didn't want to go overboard with this area because I'm not really 100% sure how big this base is going to be. The only thing I might add in here, I think we probably need some sort of counter area over here. Say there is a doctor in here. But for the most part, these are all automated facilities. So yeah, this is a nice little area. Let's go ahead and go out and check on that vehicle that I was sent. Alright, here was the vehicle that I was sent. Now this is made by Lars. He said he had something for my space theme and he sent a couple pictures of it, and I thought this looks actually really fantastic. I'm thinking it could either be used as like a cargo ship, or it almost looks like a futuristic kind of space bus. So either or, that might be one of the next sections that we work on for the city here. I'm thinking maybe a cargo area or an offloading, and maybe just an all-around dock. I guess they're called docks. Docks are hangars for other planes because I don't like the little landing pad I have out there. I figure we need something a little bigger for this area. But yeah, we're we're definitely going to use this. This could also, like I said, maybe be used as a bus. So let me go ahead and open that up here. Maybe everything's not going to be on the main facility. We might build some stuff off in the distance. It could be houses. It could be, I don't know, different type of research facilities. So we might do that. But anyways, let's walk in here real quick. And let's pull up the spider web. You can see this is just a hovercraft. It's not a full-fledged gonna fly up in space like our little starfighter. But this is definitely really awesome looking. I love the way he's done this. He's got all these thrusters that are just gonna make it hover, but he's also got some extra thrusters here. He's got what looks to be like a stabilization system similar to what was on the pirate ship that I have. You've got these sensors, they're going to poke down and they're going to read the ground, so as you're driving along or hovering along, every time it picks up like a different setup or if you start to lean, it tries to correct itself. So that's really neat. But he's got those, he's got a couple sensors aiming up and down that are just trying to provide stability. Those sensors that are pointing out, he's got those on thrusters that are going up and down over here. He's actually got them on a suspension piece, which I've seen that a couple times. That's really awesome. But yeah, we'll walk up here to the front. What I'm saying, you could possibly have like seats up and down like a bus, or this could be a cargo area. Maybe we can haul something around. Let's go ahead and hop in the cockpit here. Really awesome look. Let's see if I remember how to do this. I believe the 3 key is gonna, okay, that's gonna take down our landing gear. We actually want to place those up, and that should close the back door. Actually, not our the back door is still open. Okay, maybe we need to hit the switch for that one. The way these are set up, sometimes this back door, oh, it was closed. Duh. Yeah, it's actually set to open and it'll collapse that back landing gear. That way it'll lean it down a little bit, which is really awesome. But there we go. Let's go ahead and hop in here. Activate the thrusters. So we're just slightly hovering right now. So we're gonna drop our landing gear. So let's do that. I just activated the sensors. As you can see, you can move them. That's them activated off. And you click them again and that'll turn them on. You can see them light up and they're hitting the ground, so it knows to stabilize it. It uses suspension glitches, I believe, to turn. Now, it just kind of glides along really easy, so you can see it here. It has quite a bit of speed, but you don't want to go too fast because sometimes those sensors don't react fast enough, and if you hit something, you can bottom this thing out and it'll really tip you over. But as you can see, it glides along really nice. It's got a reverse, I believe it's the 5 key, it's the 1 button on there. You can just push straight back. I don't really want to go over those hills because I don't believe that's going to work too good. Those stabilization sensors can only do so much. In my pirate ship, I had one really, I think Con installed it. It was up high on the sail, and that really helped stabilize it, but most of his are down low, so I don't think there's really a position to put one up high. But yeah, let's go drive it around a little bit. Alright, we've got an area to test this thing out in. It's a little bumpy here, so let's see what happens. I've bottomed out a couple times. See, it hits there, but then if you ever start carrying up like that, you'll see the sensors will eventually not make contact with the ground, and it'll turn those thrusters off, so it should make you come back down to the ground, and you'll see they'll reactivate here in a second. They're a little high. He had them set, I think, to like 15, and they were picking up a little too much. I couldn't get it to where I can balance it quite right, so I set them down a little bit, that way they wouldn't activate immediately. I think it's helped a little bit. I could be completely wrong. I'm not the, let's say I'm the best with the hovercraft, and oh no, yep, see, that's what you don't want to hit. Anytime you hit something big, it just throws it off, and oh, well, I guess that gives you a good view of the underside of this. You can see the suspension glitches. This is going to be something to jump out of. Let's go and deactivate everything real quick. Actually, the sensors are catching the side. Oh, surprisingly, you can hop out of that. But yeah, I'm not really the best with hovercraft. I was really proud with the pirate ship, but I did that with a lot of help from Con. Let's see. But yeah, I think I know pretty much the system he's using. He's using, like I said, the suspension glitches compared to a lot of people will use that pipe that moves around and covers sensors to turn. But this one definitely works really good, so go and activate those again. Get our landing gear off, and we're underway again. But yeah, it's a really big ship, so definitely it cannot quite take some of the terrain. it's understandable because it's just so long. You can only catch it in so many different positions before it hits something and just throws it off. But anyways, let's go ahead and go park this back over, and we're going to wrap this up. This is a little bit of a shorter update. That greenhouse took me much longer than I expected. Like, I thought it might have been like an hour, 2-hour job, and that turned into being like a 4 or 5 hour job, which really kind of stinks. But yeah, let's go ahead and deactivate those. Drop our landing gear down. Oh, I haven't dropped my rears down. There we go. That helps. Turn that off. It's gonna fall back down. But yeah, definitely thanks to Lars for sending that to me. That is really awesome. Let's go ahead and get out of here and wrap this up. But yeah, guys, if you have any suggestions what you would like to see, I would need to build a power area and I need to build an oxygen area. That way we can officially call this I would say a safe base, because right now nobody would be living in this. And of course I left the front door open, and that's terrible in space. Let's go ahead and close that. But yeah, like I said, this uses mods. I will put this up to download, and then I'll also put it up on the workshop. If you're asking where the starfighter is, I had to move it real quick. It was kind of causing a little bit of lag for some reason, so I moved it. But I'll put it, here's the moon truck from the last episode. I will put that on the workshop also. And I'm going to make a duplicate map, and I'll cut these off and try to stick these on. These are going to be really big items, so most likely you would want to spawn these in a flat world. But like I said, you're going to need the mods also to spawn these. But yeah, guys, that's going to about wrap it up for today's episode. Tomorrow we're going to have a quick look of a new game, so we're going to check that out. We've got more in turn coming this weekend. We're going to wrap around, do some multiplayer Monday, and then we're going to do another update on the theme park, and then we should come back around to this. So definitely, if you have any suggestions for this map, comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what you want to see on this map. But anyways, if you'd like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel. And I hope you guys have a good day, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.